The smile just gets more smug by the week, doesn't it? Come on! A wise man once said, "We never stop." That man was Brendan Rodgers. Ange Postecoglou. Who? Who's that? Brendan Rodgers. We never stop. The spirit lives on. What a result for Celtic. 2-1 winners at Fir Park. Late drama. All the makings of a Scottish Premiership Fir Park classic once again under Brendan Rodgers. You thought 2016 was mad, that 4-3. Well, some things never change, and we have a lot to discuss, a lot to digest. Most importantly, it's 3 points for Celtic. Our away record in the league stays intact. We stay top of the table, and everybody who was against Celtic this afternoon will be seething. Welcome back to the channel. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. All the normal jazz, who cares? If you subscribe or no, today it doesn't really bother me, because today it's all about Celtic. It's all about the 3 points, and I am delighted. And I'm guessing you watching this video will be absolutely delighted. A game which looked as though Celtic were going to drop points, we were going to draw. We then made it look as though we had won the game. Then you're back to dropping points, and then in the last kick of the ball, basically, Matt O'Reilly in the 97th minute of the game sticks it in the onion bag, sticks it in the back of the net for the winner. And it's all 3 points for Celtic. We had to dig deep. Motherwell today, all credit to them, they will be gutted. They will be devastated. We've been on the receiving end of similar as Celtic supporters. But Motherwell fans will be absolutely devastated at that today. They made that game incredibly difficult, and Celtic had to dig deep through that. And that's exactly what we done. A real character-defining performance today. Before we get into discussing the match itself, I really do hope this is the game that really does just now bring everybody on board and makes everybody realise where we are and how special and how lucky we've got it with a man like Brendan Rodgers at the helm. And I don't want to just turn this into the regular Ryan 118 Brendan Rodgers bum up party. I don't want to make it that. But we've seen so many people foaming at the mouth, desperate for the days of Ange Postecoglou back, for results like that, for moments like that, because they thought Brendan Rodgers wasn't capable of replicating it. So many people just not willing to let the past manager go. Let him go. Let him go now. He's away in a better place. That sounds terrible. He's not in a better place. He's in fucking Tottenham. But he's away, and he gave us some great times. But we've got a new manager. We've got a manager who's here to continue the good times and create his own good times. And he showed he's more than capable of that today. Because that was character defining. That was Brendan Rodgers' masterclass today. You can say what you like about the majority of the football. Was it a boring game? Absolutely. Was it down to how Celtic played? No, I wouldn't say that. I'm trying to sit here and be, honest, genuine and level-headed about it. I don't think it was down to how Celtic played. Motherwell made it incredibly tough for us. They set up in a fashion which was always going to be difficult to break down. But we dominated the game. The game was ours to control. We just didn't have that maybe cutting edge in the final third today, which was needed to unlock the game earlier. But once again, those moments at the end of the game is what matters. Those 3 points is what matters. And Brendan Rodgers has replicated that spirit of Ange Postecoglou's first season when we were beating Ross County in the final few minutes, Dundee United in the final few minutes. Those massive results that were season-defining results. That there today is a season-defining result. And it's one that will carry this Brendan Rodgers team to where we should be come May. And that is champions, because we're still top of the league. We're still looking down on Rangers, and things are going really, really well. I hope that this is a performance that can just bring everybody on board. Wow, where do we even go? Because I feel like the actual game of football itself is irrelevant to what we ended up getting come the end of the game. I feel like we can just talk about that closing 5 or 10 minutes in isolation, and that will paint the perfect picture of what the talking points are today. But we will take it back to the start as we normally do. We will try and go through the game, and I'll try and give credit to everybody who deserves credit today. Although I must say, massive credit to everybody in the park, because those moments and results like that, and when you get things in the final few minutes, it's not just an isolated performer that does that for you. It's a team spirit. It's a full squad that does that. It's the manager, it's the players, everybody's responsible for Celtic getting that 3 points today, and it's a massive credit to everybody who played. They kept going. I mean, you concede a goal. We conceded in the 95th minute, an equaliser in the 95th minute. So many teams up and down this country, and I don't just mean in Scotland, I mean from John O'Groats to Land's End, so many teams would give up, the heads would go down. You can never write Celtic off, and that's something that's transcended managers. That's happened through Rodgers now, Postecoglou, Rodgers' first tenure, Neil Lennon, back at the days of Jock Stein. It transcends managers. It's a Celtic thing, baby. We love to do it. You can never write us off. There is a spirit and a willingness that it just goes through every player that plays for this club to try and dig deep and get results like that when it matters most. So I'm absolutely delighted, and a massive credit to all the players who took part in that today, because without them digging in and finding that in their system to go and get that winner right, the death of it, we'd be sitting here with 2 points dropped. So, yeah, brilliant. Right, shall we take it back to the start then? Let's try, amongst the emotion that is currently swirling through my body. We started the day with some massive news, and the man who started the day with that massive news ended the day with a massive goal. It's poetic, isn't it? Very poetic. Matt O'Reilly, who extended his stay at Celtic till 2027 this morning. Fantastic news. He was in the starting lineup, as you would expect. Continuing that form today, which would justify saying that he is player of the season material. Yeah, we're only, 7-8 games into our domestic campaign. You could hand him the award right now for how good he's been. That's 5 Premiership goals for him this season. He's now the top scorer, I believe, for Celtic. He has been unbelievable. Rewarded with that contract. He rewards us with that contract almost. That's how good it is to get that over the line. But that started off the day well, and the starting 11 alongside that, I was not surprised. I nearly got 11 for 11 yesterday in the video. I got 10 out of 11. The only thing that changed was Yang starting over Luis Palma. But we'll come on to Palma. So it was a pretty expected starting 11 for Celtic. And in the first half, look, we didn't do anything wrong. We controlled the game. As I said, I think that the one thing that was missing from the side today and our performance today was probably that cutting edge in the final third. We didn't have a real goal threat in that first half. For as much as we dominated the game and controlled the game, we just couldn't break Motherwell down when it came to the final third. I think that we had one decent opportunity on goal in the first half, if I remember rightly. And apart from that, it was just about having the ball, keeping the ball, and trying to find a way through, which Motherwell made really, really difficult. Stuart Kettlewell set them up as you'd expect today, very defensively to try and keep Celtic out, and it was working for a large portion of the game, but especially in that first half. I just remember the whistle going in and thinking to myself, listen, I wasn't annoyed, I wasn't disappointed. It was a 0-0, which I was reasonably happy with at that point, but Motherwell just made it really, really tough. They had a couple of chances for Scott Bain to make a save in the first half. I think that the biggest talking point of the first half for me, more than anything, was the refereeing performance, because I thought Willie Collum had a terrible hold in the game today. And once again, I hate coming on and complaining about referees, but Willie Collum's performance was, the usual SFA refereeing standard, which is poor. But today I thought he had a really poor hold in the game, decisions that didn't make sense, fouls that should have happened but didn't, fouls that did happen that shouldn't. Just the typical performance. And I thought that he was really disrupting the flow of the game in the first half as well with some of the decisions. So, first half performance wasn't great from Celtic, but it wasn't bad either. We had control in the game. It was just about trying to find that breakthrough, which we had to wait a little bit for in the second half, of course. We made a couple of changes in the second half, which kind of opened the game for us a little bit more. James Forrest came on. I don't think he was one of the ones that changed the game, to be honest. But later on, we've seen some other subs. We've seen Palma come on, who we'll talk about in a moment. We've seen O come on as well. We really had to try and chase that game as it went on, and it becomes more and more frustrating. And as the game went on, you could see how, easier it was getting for Motherwell, because we would leave ourselves more open. It would create opportunities for them, but also they were frustrating the life out of us. They were bringing like an extra man back almost with every passing minute. It felt like they were throwing one more player in the park, which is obviously impossible, but that's the way that it felt. I was watching and there was a point where I swear to God, there were 7 Motherwell defenders lined up at the box almost. I was like, we're never going to break this down. They set up really well. They frustrated Celtic, and obviously we had to wait for a long time to finally find our goal. But once again, it was more of the same. We had control of the game. We were dominating possession, and I thought that our movement looked good. It was just that final third. We just couldn't find it. Kyogo today was near invisible. I just felt like he wasn't even on the park today. And I don't think that's I'm not discrediting Kyogo, and I'm not saying he had a bad game. I just felt it was a really tough one for him to get into. We were trying to use the wide players more when we got into the final third. A lot of work being done in the middle by McGregor, O'Reilly and Hatate, who I thought had a good game together. But then when we did progress up the park into that final third, we were exploiting the wide areas more and trying to get balls in the box. And Motherwell were dealing with it quite well. Kyogo, as I said, just felt like he wasn't even in the game today. So we had to make those changes. I think all brought a physicality on to deal with the Motherwell defence. And Luis Palma was a massive substitution, as we'll come on to in a minute. But one thing I need to talk about, and I need to give credit to two guys in particular today, from a defensive standpoint. Liam Scales. Where has this come from? How has he turned into prime Maldini? Because he is unbelievable. He's like the Monaghan Maldini. I don't even know where in Ireland he's from. But that's what he is anyway. Unbelievable from Liam Scales. Once again today. I think he had one slight error. That when the ball went under his foot in the second half when a cross came in. Aside from that, unbelievable again today. Dealt with everything. Came across every ball well. Got in and intercepted it plenty of times. Some really good standing tackles to poke the ball out of play when needed. He was brilliant. We can't drop him at the minute. You simply cannot drop Liam Scales when he's playing like that. And that's fact at this point. Until he has a massive slip up, you can't drop the boy. Because he's been unbelievably good. Brilliant again performance from Liam Scales today. I've got to give him credit for that. Every week it's the same story at this rate. And that's what I want it to continue being. Because you love seeing him in the team. Because he's a likeable guy. He's somebody who you want to see do well. I just never thought we'd see him do this well. And here we are. So he's living the dream. He's helping us live the dream. Another cracking performance from Liam Scales today. Just a shame we didn't keep that clean sheet. And the other guy I want to give a shout out to, and a shame that he didn't keep a clean sheet, is Scott Bain. Because I thought he had a tremendous performance between the sticks today. Granted, a lot of the stuff that he had to deal with was bread and butter. He has to save them. If he doesn't save them, he shouldn't be a professional goalkeeper. But he still made big saves at big moments, especially when the game was still 0-0. Scott Bain made a lot of massive saves today, which, on another day, somebody else lets one of those in, changes the entire complexion of where the game's going. So, yeah, brilliant from Bain, brilliant from Scales. I thought defensively we were solid enough today. Obviously, Motherwell had their odd chance, but that's going to happen. It's football. You're not going to keep out a team for 90 minutes and not give them an opportunity. So, second half, we still held ourselves in there. And then Luis Palma, which I thought gave us the winner, scores. Was it a cross? Was it a goal? Was it a shot? I don't know. It was a goal, though. And that's what matters. It's a massive goal for Celtic. It's a massive goal for Luis Palma. I'm hoping that that's the one that really allows the confidence to build in him now. He's going to be a player up here. He is. I'm bought into it. I think he looks quality. And once again, is it a shot? Is it a cross? I don't care. It's a goal. And I just thought he brought a wee bit of electricity to the game that we needed at that point. I like the look of him a lot. And I'm hoping that's a goal that breeds confidence in him. And I thought it was the winner for us, and then we concede. It was a tough one. It was a poor one to concede, but not an awful lot you can do about it. It fell in the right place for Motherwell. It was an easy finish when there's nobody close enough to you to contest that opportunity. And as I said earlier in the video, so easy for the heads to drop at that point, but we go right up the park. And a delicious ball sent in for Matt O'Reilly, who's sitting there beautifully placed at the back post. I'm so happy it was him. So happy. I'm telling you right now, if that was a Dyson Maeda, who we've not even spoke about his missed opportunity, by the way, because I don't even want to think about it. If that was Maeda, God, if it was even Kyogo, if it was James Forrest, if it was anybody else, I genuinely could have seen that going flying over the bar. That was a tremendous finish. Say what you like about a tap in at the back post or whatever. That's tough. In the 97th minute, to have the composure to make sure you put it in and tidily put it away. Matt O'Reilly had to be the guy to be there in that moment. He's a clutch player. He's a big game player. His football IQ is up there with the best of them. It had to be him sitting there. And luckily it was. And he sends the Celtic fans into hysterics Unbelievable from Matt O'Reilly. Unbelievable. And as I said, poetic. He starts the day with the big news. He ends the day with the big goal. I love him so much. Brendan, I don't know how you've managed to turn him into this sensational player that he... Well, he was already a sensational player. I've always loved Matt O'Reilly and I've always known the qualities there, but Brendan has took him to the next level. Whatever you're feeding him, whatever you're dating him, dating him? Oh, God. Whatever you're dating him, keep it going because you have turned him into, you know, unbeatable talent. Love it to bits. And that there was the winner for Celtic and made it a glorious afternoon, which keeps us top of the table. It's one of those match reactions which is more emotion and mindless nonsense than it is analysis and review. But in these moments and after these results, can you actually blame me? Do you blame me for being nonsensical? Because it's just happiness and it's just joy overload. I love it. I actually feel sorry for the old man. I was watching the game with my dad, and 10 minutes to go, 80th minute, the mother phones him and asks her to go and pick her up for the hairdresser. So he left at the 80th minute. I think, nothing will happen. He comes back 2 minutes after the final whistle to see what happened. He was livid. And look at me, I ain't livid. I tell you that for nothing. But aye, brilliant, just brilliant. We will try and deep dive this more tomorrow. Or / Monday before we head into Europe, but that's another positive. You know, I'm just glad that it can breed confidence into this Celtic side for Wednesday. It breeds confidence into the fans across social media and all that, for as much as it matters. But I just hate seeing people moan for nothing. I'm happy. Go and get a pint, everybody. Enjoy your Saturday. Take care. Hail, hail. And remember, we are still top of the league. Cheerio.